Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video. I am so happy.
Hazardous anomaly detected. Quarantine activated.
Stop. Stay back. Stay back now. No. No. You want to know what that's called? That is called acting. That is called a masterpiece of a performance. That was a skit about a AI clone replacing me because of a security breach. Yeah, that was pretty impressive stuff, right? Wait, but how do you know that I'm not the AI clone? Or maybe I'm now the real Christian and the one in the previous couple videos was actually the fake AI clone. Yeah, think about that. If you can't tell, I'm having a bit of an AI crisis of late, mostly because I've seen videos of Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, saying things like this.
My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world. I think if this technology goes wrong, it can go quite wrong.
Or Google CEO Sundar Pichai saying this in an interview on 60 Minutes.
Sundar, I wonder what keeps you up at night around this issue of AI?
It can be very harmful if deployed wrongly. And we don't have all the answers there yet, and the technology is moving fast. So does that keep me up at night? Absolutely.
Or Nobel Peace Prize winner Geoffrey Hinton and the godfather behind automated learning saying this.
We're like somebody who has this really cute tiger cub. Unless you can be very sure that it's not going to want to kill you when it's grown up, you should worry. I'm kind of glad I'm 77.
Or this Oompa Loompa oomping this out of his face hole.
I think we should be very careful about artificial intelligence. If I were to guess at what our biggest existential threat is, it's probably that.
Are you experiencing a crisis now? Welcome to the club. This is all fun and dandy, but AI's rapid integration into everyday life has me thinking a lot about this technological wave and where it might go, specifically in relation to the arts, to painting, to filmmaking, to drawing, to singing. What purpose will human-made art still hold in a world where robots run everything? Could AI be beneficial to the artistic process? These are all thoughts I have and I've thought through, and honestly I'm just using this video as a bit of a conversation to lure some of these thoughts out of my brain. So in a way, I guess this is just therapy. So you guys are just gonna get to sit there and watch me yap about what my problems are. I want to start with a few firsthand examples, and I'm going to present this evidence to you guys. So last week I was walking about the city doing whatever it is that I do when I got a text from my sister. It was a picture of her watching my video, my last video, which you should go check out if you haven't. Anyway, she was watching this and I was like, oh, that's the sweetest thing that my sister is doing this for me. She's giving me a view. She's giving me my only view. Well, that didn't last long, because shortly after that, she followed it up with this picture. An abomination. A AI abomination. The point being, she was able to create this crazy image in seconds, really. In seconds. This amalgamation of Sean Penn and also kind of weirdly my cousin. It kind of looks like him in seconds. I mean, and there's no denying it. It looks pretty cool. It looks good. It looks really good. Remember when AI couldn't like make fingers or make legible text like 4 months ago? Yeah, not anymore. So I wanted to try this for myself, right? Because maybe she did some kind of voodoo witchcraft. I don't know. I had to see this happen for myself. So naturally, I chose a cat picture because what other picture would you choose? There really aren't any other options. This is my precious cat Maui, who sadly passed away like 5 or 6 years ago, but he's a king and he is a staple of my childhood. I input this picture of Maui and ask it to create an art piece in the style of French Renaissance. I don't know. This is what I got. I also input a picture of my dog, who I don't like as much as the cat. So I asked it to make it in a gothic, horrifying style and to make my dog into a monster. So the predicament here is quite obvious. If this art that looks kind of good, and honestly, I would not be able to tell if it was human art or AI art if I was just living in an igloo in Antarctica for the last 20 years and came here and asked if that was really good human art. I would still think it was human art. And anyways, if this is where we are now, and if we could be heading somewhere even crazier, what is the point of humans even trying to create things that can be replicated in the span of seconds? Of course, there's plenty of good reasons why humans make art and will continue to make art, but this is just like what my existential mind is telling me in these instant moments before I bring myself back down to level. But that's besides the point. I then thought to myself, well, this is just photo stuff. No way it'll be able to recreate video stuff as effectively, right? Tell me, right? Wrong. My buddies and I we're working on this web series right now. So we were shooting the other day and we got this really cool shot, which I'm going to show you right now. And for whatever reason after, we found ourselves in an existential talk about AI. And then we got to, let's just try to see if AI can mimic one of the shots we've already done, just to see what it can do. Of course, our shot is entirely way better, but it is eerie how effective that recreation is for something that took only a couple seconds. And also, the shot that I showed you at the beginning that we shot is actually in a compilation in the web short, and the shot is like 2 seconds long. So I could see down the road studios cheaping out and, instead of shooting that 2-second shot that maybe takes half an hour to set up, get the lighting, everything perfect, they just go and use AI to recreate it in the span of a minute. No one can tell. It's a 2-second thing. This is what I'm talking about. My brain. I think the negatives here are pretty obvious. Of course, you have plagiarism when it comes to these AI programs learning from human-based content. They're naturally going to learn and evolve in ways that humans do. Therefore, a lot of the art it spits out could be mimicking or copying a human-made art style. I think the lack of oversight is another very obvious one. Of course, you had SAG-AFTRA, the actors who went on strike last year, and a lot of that had to do with the coming AI capabilities, and they did have some things written into the contracts that are going to help them with that in the future, but honestly, the oversight was not very strong. And I think just in general, our government is super reactive to everything instead of being proactive. I think AI is another perfect example of this. This is coming on very strong, and it's only gotten more and more effective. And now we're already at a tipping point where our government's not going to regulate anything. They're not going to do anything. And by the time it's already too late, well, then it's too late. But again, this is not all doom and gloom. I'd like to consider myself a very positive person, sometimes ignorantly positive, and AI is no different. You know, I've been stewing on this stuff, as you can tell throughout this video, but I do not think this will be all bad. Of course, this creates an accessibility to art, whether it be because of a disability or because of financial restrictions, that won't really be as much of a restrictive anymore. As I mentioned, enhanced brainstorming and creativity, inspiration, and faster prototyping when it comes to storyboarding or screenplays or a product or a piece of art, whatever it might be. AI does give you that perfect partner to be able to create prototypes quite quickly. I absolutely think there's an avenue where AI and humans can coexist creatively. Put that on record. The guy who is a communications major says that he thinks that AI and human art will coexist. Well, let's think about this. Let's have a little thought experiment. A future with very advanced AI probably also means a future with a universal basic income. This kind of major cultural shift in America could kind of take us away from the work, the grind, the hustle mentality that we have, and kind of slow us down and allow us to fall back into our hobbies or doing things that we actually genuinely enjoy doing. So in a perfect world that probably won't happen, but could happen, the advancement in AI could therefore allow us to spend more time creating and doing the things we really love doing. Innovation has always been a certainty when it comes to art. How we create it, how we portray it, the medium in which we use it or show it. The radio made way for the screen. The silent films made way for dialogue and sound. Practical effects gave way to CGI. Black and white gave way to color. Film gave way to digital. The rise of the internet brought along a completely different type of art with graphic and digital art. Art always evolves and art always adapts, and I don't think this will be any different. I don't really know where we stand in this whole thing, but it feels like we're at the very beginning of something really, really exciting. Now, oftentimes when it comes to things that are very exciting, you know, they can be used in malignant ways. Of course, AI is no different. It can be used in malignant ways, but I think it can be used in beautiful ways also. You know, kind of like I said, I think that the human will and the need and desire for creativity is something that will propel us to work alongside AI. AI will never do away with human art. And I don't think there's ever going to become a world where humans value AI art over art that their fellow humans made. At least, maybe that's what I like to think. But the thing about AI art is that it has no soul. It doesn't come from any place special, any place that a human can interact with. And I think that's the most important and connective piece of art. It's that you can be feeling a certain way, be feeling a certain emotion, and you can see this art that someone made and know that you can connect with it and know that you're not alone in feeling the way that you're feeling. In the end, the question isn't whether AI will replace human art, rather, how will the two evolve alongside each other? AI can replicate style, it can mimic technique, it can even stir emotion, but it cannot live a life. It cannot feel a heartbreak, it cannot long for connection, it cannot stand in awe and take in the world and use that awe to replicate something into art. As long as there are perspectives to share and emotions to make sense of, there will always be a place for human art. The future isn't a competition, it's a collaboration. And who knows, maybe the next era of art is the most creative we have seen yet. Or AI will end us all.